Star Wars Squadrons is a game that focuses on starfighter combat by EA. Players get the chance to fly for the New Republic or the Galactic Empire. This is a fantasy that every Star Wars fan can get behind, but the low price tag raises a couple of questions. Will the game be worth it? Will the campaign be too short? Will the multiplayer be lacking? So forget about it being worth your money. Is Star Wars Squadrons worth your time? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. But before we go any further, my name is Dan and welcome to my YouTube channel. I love to use this space to talk about video games, and if that's something you like hearing about, then do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. Moving on, let's start talking about Star Wars Squadrons by discussing the game's campaign. From the start, the messaging around Squadrons has been that the game is multiplayer focused. It'll have a campaign, but it will not be the main attraction. And with that, the game's lower price tag starts to make sense right away. Instead of being $60, it's $40 because the campaign is lacking, right? While that might be true for the campaign compared to other big AAA titles, I still have to say the campaign of Squadrons is pretty fun. It's way more fleshed out than I thought it was going to be, and maybe that's because my expectations were set low in the first place. But regardless of all of that, I'm enjoying the story and I'm enjoying learning more about Squadrons as I go through the campaign. It's also a great place for me to try all the ships, try all the controls, and learn more about the game without having to worry about getting my butt kicked in multiplayer, which will happen if you skip the campaign. I mean, to be fair, it's likely going to happen if you don't skip the campaign, but at least you'll have a fighting chance against other players who are already very good at Star Wars Squadrons. So let's take a break from talking about the campaign in Squadrons and move on to the controls. The learning curve for the controls in this game are fairly high, and that's only because it's a far departure from what other games are like. At the start, I found myself fumbling over each thumbstick, figuring out which one rolls, which one steers, and other controls that are just a little weird at first. But like all things, practice makes perfect, and you will get it if you keep trying. If you keep playing the campaign, you will figure out how to fly your starship without hitting a rock. And as soon as you gain some comfort with these controls, more advanced tactics can find their way into your arsenal. Shields can be angled to give protection where needed, so if you're flying towards a Star Destroyer, you want to angle your shields forward because they're going to be hitting you head on very hard. You can also give more juice to the engines or to the weapons or to the shields of your starship, depending on what you need. So if you're trying to get away from somebody, you want to give more power to your engines. If you're trying to blow somebody up, you want to give more power to your weapons, and so on and so forth. You're done. And the most advanced maneuver that I've come across so far is drifting, which is the act of going really fast and then turning really hard to make a really sharp turn to maybe get away from an enemy or take a really hard turn to outrun a missile. And while these maneuvers are available to you out of the gate, let the campaign teach you how to do them because it gives you a safe space to do so. I can't tell you how many things I learned in the campaign that I brought back to multiplayer feeling a lot more confident the second time around. My favorite part about all of these maneuvers is that it lets you react to the situation that you're in. And the controls for each of these advanced maneuvers is really intuitive, so I highly recommend you let the campaign teach you because it does give you a space in the levels that I've experienced so far to learn each of them. And it's a lot more fun to learn these things while you're not being attacked by other players, so I, again, highly recommend doing all this in the campaign. And speaking of multiplayer, there are two modes in the game that you'll wind up enjoying after the campaign is over, and that is Dogfight and Fleet Battles. So let's go through those, starting with Dogfight. Dogfight mode's pretty straightforward. It's 5 versus 5. You're either on the Empire or the Rebellion or the New Republic or whatever they're called. All of the skills that you learn in the campaign are being put to the test here, so it's imperative that you go into this mode with a plan and you don't dive headfirst because you don't have all your components unlocked yet. You don't know a lot of the intricacies of the battle systems yet, so you really want to learn in the campaign and then go to dogfight mode because I'm telling you right now, people are good at this game and you're going to want to be on par with that. And I know I'm pushing the campaign on you very hard, but that's because it's a lot more fun than just playing a tutorial and going into multiplayer because it gives you context, gives you situations, and it's also replayable. But let's get into that after we talk about fleet battles. In fact, I'd consider this mode to be the game's defining game mode, the one that really got people interested in the game in the first place. In this game type, you fight through enemy starships with the goal of taking down an opposing capital ship. You'll have your own capital ship behind you, so you have to make sure that's also well defended while you're attacking the enemy. And when I say capital ship, I mean like a Star Destroyer, so a big ship. These long-winded battles are very reminiscent of the ones you'll find in Star Wars movies themselves. So given the small selection of game modes, it'll be really interesting to see how EA keeps us interested in Squadrons over time. And given the low price point and lack of microtransactions, it will be interesting to see how EA supports Squadrons after launch. But I am excited to see what they do add to the game over time, if anything. I mean, I think there's a lot of potential for them to add more fleet battles, limited time fleet battles, We'll just have to see what happens. Needless to say, there's a lot to unpack in Star Wars Squadrons, so let's talk about some things I think you should look out for when you start playing the game. Personally, I've been going back and forth between the campaign and the multiplayer modes. I've been having a lot of fun going from the campaign where I learn things about the game to the multiplayer where I get to apply what I've learned from the campaign. Also, sometimes I don't want to play online against other players, and the campaign's a good place to just blow up other starships. The campaign also features 4 difficulty levels, so if you're interested in trying a level over again, you can do that and you can try to get a higher score. I really think EA's definition of a light campaign is any other game's definition of a decently sized campaign. And if you own a VR headset on PS4 or PC, good news, Squadrons all set for you out of the box. The $40 version of the game has VR built in. Squadrons is also riddled with cosmetics and ship components that you can unlock, so you can change the way you play and also the way your ship looks. Finishing the campaign also automatically unlocks a new paint job for your ships, so if you needed another reason to play through it, there it is. The ultimate question I wanted to answer with this video is whether or not Squadrons was worth buying and worth your time, and I can honestly say that I think it is. That $40 price point makes this a really easy purchase, and honestly, I've been having a lot of fun with this game. There's something really nice about the simple campaign. It's not too deep, it's really not, but it is fun. The depth comes in with all the things you learn during the campaign that then get transferred to the multiplayer experience. Fleet battles seem like something I really want to dig into with my buddies, and I can't wait to do that. That's really going to be exciting. As a matter of fact, we're working on figuring out our own call signs in this game, so my buddy Mark wants to be called Piccadilly while he's flying his X-Wing, and I guess that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's do something fun. If you want to pick my call sign for Star Wars Squadrons, then do me a favor and comment down below, and I'll go with the one that has the most likes. I have a feeling I'm gonna regret this decision, but I am interested in seeing what comes out of it, for better or worse. So if this video helped you in any way, if it was informative, do me a favor and like the video. It's a great way to let me know that you liked the video and that you got something out of it. If you wanna talk about Star Wars Squadrons, or if you have any questions about the game that I might be able to answer, do me a favor and comment down below. And if you're not already, do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the #1 way to let me know that you like my content and that you wanna see more of it. As always, I appreciate your time the most out of anything you can share, so thank you very much for allowing me to talk your ear off about Star Wars Squadrons. And good luck out there in the dangerous skies of Star Wars Squadrons. And if you see me flying my X-Wing, just shoot at me. I'll be taken by surprise, I promise.
They fired a missile!